Nice. Yeah, we could work with that too. I wasn't sure if you were going off top or...
Yeah, I did want to go off top, but I do have a couple questions.
Great. Now we're live, so don't say anything incriminating.
Oh, okay.
But say whatever you want.
Oh, you mean like streaming live?
Yeah, we're streaming live now.
Oh man, it's dangerous already.
I have no idea if we have any viewers, but because that doesn't show me.
Okay.
I mean, unless you join from Twitch, then you'll see if anybody else is actually watching. But it doesn't matter.
Am I looking here? This is where I'm doing the smize?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is where I'm getting chosen in this area. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me pull up my notes.
Where I'm getting chose at is crazy.
You gotta. Once you're live, you gotta be entertaining. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Wait. And before we get into that, let me also grab the prints. This is called lack of professionalism.
No, but it gives them it brings them into pre-production.
Right. You know, just a little bit of that.
Yeah.
And then my sleeve. Okay. And then just making sure it's still in the water. Okay. So, welcome to our reintroduction
of Seeing Sounds podcast.
Right.
This time live.
Welcome back. Our Mason Betha
episode.
We are currently at Connect Gallery. Shout out to Connect. Shout out to Rob. Shout out to Anthony for letting us be in the space today.
Yes.
If you look behind Mahmood, also that is Mahmood, and also known as Muddy.
Yep.
Behind Keem, known as Keem of Wheat. If you look behind him, this is one of his pieces of art. And along this wall and along these walls, his art is up and will be an exhibit until February 27th.
Yep.
All right, so if you are in the Chicago area or plan to be anytime soon, you can stop into Connect Gallery in Hyde Park and check out the art. And we also have a few more events happening here, so you might be able to catch us as well, especially if you're trying to choose. Yeah, boy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, boy. You want to just hop right into the art? You want to, because I know we're going to catch up and stuff at some point over it. So let's get the people what they're here for. Yeah. And then the people who just care about us as people can hear us blab. Okay, so let's start with this piece here. First, what is the title of this piece?
It's titled "She's a Long Way from Suburban Towns," which is a song lyric actually from a song. Damn, now I can't remember the name. The song "Self Love" by Coi Leray.
Okay, "Self Love" by Coi Leray.
It was a soundtrack track from the
OST.
Yeah, from the Miles Morales Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse movies.
Okay.
It was from there. Always liked that song, but and it kind of resonated with the idea for the painting, which I guess I should get into. So the painting depicts a recurring character of mine, Mona the Wolf. She's standing on an island by herself in this, and there's like a faded image of the person she used to be in the bottom left corner. It's a painting about being in a new space and becoming a new version of yourself and still holding on to an older version of yourself. Really inspired by a time when I lived in Florida, and I think relocating in your adult years is it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, actually, let's open that up a little bit, because I personally know already that there are some ups and downs, especially in the art area when you were out there in Miami, and so two things. So to keep it centered on a painting, because we all probably noticed by now that there is a blade that the main character in this image is wielding. And so when I think of that image and I think about what you just brought up with your experiences in Miami, I want you to open up on that and how that went, because I know that some of the characteristics of how some of the mainstream critiques of, like, for example, a common one is oh man, we should do something later. We should collaborate, and then
a lot of Lincoln building.
Yeah. So what was your experience out in Miami?
It was, it had its ups and downs. I met a lot of good people, but I definitely met a lot of those characters that are like, yo, let's meet up, let's do this, let's collaborate on that. And it's very competitive out there, which the art scene is competitive everywhere. But I think, at least here, home, it's competitive, but it's competitive. There, sometimes it's competitive, but it's like veiled in the image of, yo, we're all gonna collaborate. But really, it's competitive on the low.
Yeah.
So.
And I know that's a conversation we have a lot, because I get the intent of a lot of people who say, like, we're building, it's not competition. And when you're building with people, it's probably not competition between you two if you're building. However, there is competition. When you think about, I know we don't like to think about things in the sense or lens of scarcity, but you do have to be realistic, and like there's only so many big stages, right? There's only so many opportunities, and there's way more artists and opportunities. So it is inherently a competition, whether you want to see it that way or not.
Right.
And how you decide to navigate the competition might make it seem less or more competitive, you know what I mean? So I get the intent, but like we have to also be based in the reality that we are competing with each other for opportunities, especially exposure with technology being what it is today, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
and with that, it wasn't always like about the competition. It's like, I guess that aside, the art scene aside, when you're living in a city where you're like, oh, nobody knows me here, you like start to become like a new person, and then you're kind of battling internally with like, is this who I am now? Or like, no, the real me is how I was when I lived back home. Like, you're trying to adapt to a new environment, but it's just like a weird feeling. So you've got this like image, like a remnant of who you were, and then you're like, everybody that I've met here sees a new version of me that actually isn't the real me. Like, this isn't who my friends grew up with. So it's a weird thing relocating.
So I call that, because I thought about this a lot, I call it the shadow box effect. So it's like you're shadow boxing yourself. And I think a lot of times what happens is we have the one category of thinking, and we have that one allocated space in our mind when we talk about people seeing us in our past life. And so seeing us through the lens of who we consistently been before a certain point that we've actually changed internally.
Right.
But they don't see that internal change externally. They just see us as who we were. And so I think that part of who we are able to expand into, like in proaction or proactivity or like straightforward action, might be somewhat correlated to how people see us. How they see us growing in the container that we've always been in. And I think that we might build that container too, like as like that counter force type law. But then when you go to this new space, that kind of falls off, and you're like, I can actually just be like whoever I want to be.
Whoever I want to be, yeah.
And so I think that then inherently makes you question if who you've been was who you were. You know what I mean? So it's like,
and it's weird. At first, it's kind of exciting, where you're like, I could present the way I want to present here because nobody knows me. And then after a while, you're like, but wait, this still doesn't feel authentic to me either.
There's somebody at the door.
Oh.
Are we letting them in?
Oh yeah, that's Natalie.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, we should have asked Rob to unlock the doors.
Oh yeah.
All good.
Well, welcome in.
Welcome in. We just started the art talk, so you're all good. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh, about like, at first it's exciting. You're like, I could be, a new person. But then it kind of, you're like, what am I don't know. You're kind of having an internal battle of like, I can't keep going on this path of this like new person because it doesn't feel authentic anymore. And a lot of times coming home or visiting home was like a grounding that would happen, or like a reset of like, okay, this is who I am. My family's here. This is like, I don't know if I'm explaining it right, but it's even in visiting home, you're like, okay, this is everybody who knows me is here, so they're grounding me again into reality. But also, I've still changed by relocating. So now I'm like, home doesn't know me, and the new place doesn't know the old me.
Right. And you're also trying to figure out which one is more.
Which one is going to win this battle?
Okay, I'm gonna move into the next one.
Yeah.
All right, because we could talk about that forever, and we probably will at some point.
Yeah.
This one is actually becoming more of my favorite now.
Really? Just
because of what happened with the Bears recently. Even though I know it's not the same place, I know it was Wiener Circle who was giving out the free hot dogs for people.
Oh.
But the dogs, nonetheless.
Yeah.
So I know for sure that this was inspired because this is one of your favorite spots.
Yeah.
So tell us about your connection to Devil Dogs and why this piece was inspired.
Devil Dogs, there's a few locations. It's a local chain of like burger and hot dog spots in the city. The location that I used to frequent was in the South Loop, specifically Printers Row area, where I lived for like 5-6 years. It was just like a great late night spot to like grab a burger and fries or a hot dog and fries, late or early, whatever. To me, it became, I preferred over Portillo's, which like Portillo's is the Chicago staple, but Devil Dogs is for sure my favorite. And naturally in my world of Onion City, I had to flip it to Demon Dogs. In my, I guess, parallel to Chicago universe.
Gotcha.
With this piece being called I Left My Heart at Demon Dogs. It also came from a place of feeling homesick and just missing like a burger night with your friends.
Okay.
So that one's a little more straightforward of like where the idea came from. But I also wanted, if anybody's familiar with Edward Hopper,
and don't lie if you're not.
If you're not, it's fine, but you probably know the painting Nighthawks if you Google it. It's like a diner scene. You'd probably know it the second you Google it. You'd be like, oh, I've seen this painting before. But I wanted to make my version of Nighthawks, which in that it was like a 1930s diner scene. I might have the years wrong, but this is like the modern day diner scene, if you will, but more so from outside.
For sure. So, tell us about the placement of this character here on top of the building.
That guy, he's my guy Snow. He's an interesting character. You'll see him in other paintings and whatnot, but he's just like sitting on the roof, kind of channeling J. Cole's 2014 Forest Hills Drive cover. But he's kind of just sitting up top contemplating life, reminiscing on his last burger night at the spot.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he's a vessel I've used to depict emotion many a time. And then obviously he gets his own storyline, or he's gotten his own storyline over the years.
He is coming up next.
Yeah.
So, quick question before we move into the next piece. You said that you titled the piece, You Left Your Heart Here. So what is the significance of that?
It's, I'm like, what is the Tony Bennett song? I left my heart there's a Tony Bennett song, I left my heart somewhere. Now I sound like a millennial that doesn't know anything. Was it Left My Heart in San Francisco? It might be.
It might be.
It might be I Left My Heart in San Francisco. I can't remember now. It is? Yeah. Okay. So that was like, I just took the same language and I was like, it's like I left my heart in Chicago.
Okay. All right.
More homesick vibes.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's no heart leaving in the literal sense.
No. It was more of a just reminiscing on good times in like your favorite city, your hometown.
For sure. Shout out to Adele. All right. So, Snow is now relieving himself.
Yeah.
If my manager insults me again style.
Yeah. He's just chain smoking in a lot of the pieces that I've done. This is a piece called They Fell in Love with My Shadow Clones. And I guess the PC answer is that this is a piece about feeling misunderstood.
Okay.
And then the petty answer is this is a piece that I was like tired of people copying me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like my diss record in a painting.
Gotcha.
But not many people know that. And I don't mean copying me like copying my art or my style, which people copy all the time. Art is like about copying smart, or maybe not even copying smart, but just like I was just telling you, it's like a blend of all the things you love is what your style becomes. But this was more so of like, we talk about this all the time in the internet age. Sometimes you like want to share ideas on the internet right away just because that's what we do. And then sometimes you're like, I just shared this and somebody took my words word for word and reposted them 24 hours later. You're like, I didn't even get my algorithm working off of this yet. And now it's going viral on their page.
Yeah. So one thing I really like, and there's a few, I think there's like 2 or 3 pieces that you have where there's a lot of details in the back. And this one has, and I don't know how clear it's coming up on the video, but there are a lot of different instances of snow. There's one where he has bandages on his cheeks like he's just been through some sort of war. There's ones where he's angry. There's ones where he's crying upside down. There's a lot of different images of him in the background making up these pink areas you see behind him. Just in case. Also, if you can't see it, there's more reason for you to come to the gallery.
Yeah.
And stop being lazy and such a peanut head and just walk
put a jacket
around.
on.
It'll take you like 2 minutes. if you care about art, it'll take you longer. But just come up here and check it out. But I really do like that there's so much emotion in the background, and it seems like those are like the internal thoughts that he's having, or like memory or flashbacks, and then he's like, let me just smoke this nicotine real quick and let this all go. You know.
It's definitely that. It's also like I was thinking of the shadow clone concept from the Naruto anime, and how like he would make like 1,000 doubles of himself, and in this case it was like those represent like his doubles are all behind him.
Gotcha.
And yeah, with the theme of the I was gonna say the song, the theme of the painting being like
seeing sounds.
Yeah. The theme of the painting being like, you know, all of my doubles took my ideas and took off, but I'm just here.
Yeah.
And nobody cares, so I'm gonna light this cigarette.
I don't even want to open up the hatch too much on this topic because
it's still relevant to this day.
Yeah, you know,
maybe to like 2 days ago.
Let me just tuck these neatly to remind myself of the order to keep because we are live.
Yeah.
I will say that I have begun to just embrace what it is.
Yeah.
The monster that it is, whether you're in the belly of the beast or standing somewhere else anatomically on the beast, it can be deflating at the least, right? Especially if you're already dealing with what a lot of independent artists deal with, which is just figuring out how to keep the motivation to make the art in the way you want to make it without being drained from all the alternative methods that you're taking to make sure you're able to support yourself in the art. You know what I mean? And then you're also having to figure out how to navigate social media, platforming, marketing, you know, on top of not having the time to really be learning how to do all of that on the expert level or the level that you would need to be at to rise above the other, I guess I can't even say other, the like million the million other artists doing exactly what you're doing. You know what I mean? So that's already draining. And then somebody's like, oh, I'm gonna just do exactly what that person's doing. Like I'm gonna just like it's like a deflation of all the energy and time you took to like curate your own path and journey. But not only that, right? Not only just like deciding to take my thing, but the algorithm literally is going to show us it because it's so similar. You know what I mean? Like you can't take something that was never on the internet until after I posted it, paraphrase a couple words and post it, and don't think I'm going to see it 15 minutes after you post it, because that's literally how the algorithm works. So I'm literally seeing this stuff. It's like I've never seen it before. all of a sudden I'm seeing, it's kind of like that car, like you get a car and then all of a sudden you start
You
seeing
see
that
the car everywhere.
and it's not even like that. I've never seen this car ever. Like this car didn't exist. I just created this car, and now you're claiming you've been in this car for like the last 4 years. Like that's the difference when it comes to like my words. Like it really frustrates me because I'm like, come on, bro, come on now. You weren't thinking like this. I'm thinking like this because this is who I am. You're copying. You know what I mean? And the success I'm not mad at because it just lets me know that like at least it's resonating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it is a little deflating. Where I'm at currently is I use it. I think I told you this before. Like I've started to convert these like little tanks of mine. It's like when I get upset, I just put this in this reserve tank. So when I'm feeling like a little less motivated about like just like for myself, because I like to self motivate. But when I'm not motivated, I'll be like, remember that time dude tried to copy? You can't give up. Like you can't. You know what I'm saying? You can't slack right now. You know what I mean? You gotta go hard because somebody's gonna come take something and then eat off of you, and then you're gonna be competing against your damn self. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, anywho, I said I wasn't gonna open up the hatch, but I did.
But let me tell you, if Radish City takes off, I'm burning all my pieces.
Radish City would be crazy, bro. I would show up too. I show up sitting in the front and I just be like this.
It's been 10 years of Onion City development.
Story behind Radish City?
You pulled up Radish City.
What is the significance of the vegetable you chose?
Yeah.
All right. So this one you already know I'm gonna talk about a few things. You know? So I'll let you go ahead and just introduce it and explain it before I start my line of questioning.
Yeah. So this one's called Lakeshore Dreams, and I just had like, when I was putting this show together, and when I put any show together, I write out the titles to the pieces before. Well, usually I'm writing the titles out because I have an idea for the pieces, but this one I just liked the ring of Lakeshore Dreams and the LSD abbreviation. But I didn't fully have a concept yet, like right away when I first wrote it down.
Yeah.
But I knew I was like, I want to make a surreal piece. Because I'm like, my art kind of is surreal, but I wouldn't classify it as like the surrealism genre, like Salvador Dali or something. Or there's some pieces where you're like, oh, that's kind of surreal, but it's not like my thing.
Gotcha.
But I was like, I want to do like a surreal piece where it's like something that just doesn't make sense, where, you see, and I'm not the first one to paint a whale flying through the, sea of clouds or whatever. It's a concept I've seen before, but I wanted to do it in my way with the like Chicago skyline in the back. And the window was like, I was like, I want to do if you've ever watched the Lo-Fi Girl live stream on YouTube of just like lo-fi music, and she's just like studying or doing whatever, and she's got like a window, there's usually like a skyline scene. I took the lamp, like that's the same lamp from that scene, and I was like, but my window is gonna be like my character, Ahmed the Alchemist, just asleep at his desk, not studying, just asleep. Tired and dreaming, if you will, and his dream is portrayed out the window with like whales crashing through the city skyline, pink clouds, and I was like, how would I decorate his desk in a cool way? And I think with the Lo-Fi Girl, she usually has a plant. Here I was like, what if it was a Pokemon, a Diglett coming out of the pot of the plant? And I also wanted to literally shine light on Palestine with the Palestinian flag.
Right under the lamp.
Yeah, very subtle, like this isn't like a protest piece or like an activist piece, but it's like a literal light shining on Palestine as like a reminder of like, hey, I am a Palestinian American artist. You should look up this flag and see what's going on, kind of thing. Definitely.
Yeah, because that was really going to be my first, you already know how I am. You know what I mean? Like, right into it.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about and I'll just say like your legacy and path as a Palestinian person, man, and artist, like in America.
I mean, being a Palestinian man in America is interesting today. Growing up, it was a lack of awareness. So you would, somebody might ask where you're from, you say Palestine, and they go like, oh, Pakistan? And I'm like, no, wrong country. Oh, Palatine? I'm like, that's a suburb of Chicagoland, but no. So that was the conversation growing up, and people didn't really know much about the region. And then over time, I think the awareness has, exploded in a good way, but due to negative things that are going on over there, like the active genocide that's happening. So now it's like people are aware of what's going on, but it's like, I think we're all feeling a little helpless, but now we like know where the American tax dollars are going, which sucks, but I'm like, I don't know, I'm like, y'all raised hell for the Boston Tea Party back in whenever that was, and when I looked at them numbers, I'm like, we weren't paying nothing back then to the British. I think we have cause for a revolution now, but I don't think we have the heart for a revolution, sadly.
Yeah, it's
which we're all just trying to survive, so I understand that, but I don't know. It might be a dark statement, but that's kind of all I got.
No, I think it's, again, like it's about grounding in the reality, right?
Yeah.
So I think that with there being no real metric, or it's like grief, right? There's no real step-by-step sequence for what would incite a revolution. However, the heart is required, right? It has to be aligned with that the entire way. The same way, like processing grief, your heart has to be aligned with it the entire way. So you have to be open to whichever chapters come before you next, because they won't be in order. You know what I mean? So as far as like the awareness around Palestine, even just like looking up what the word meant to other, like to the surrounding countries, it's like the erasure, I think, has been, I think just as an empathetic person, it's just heavy to watch many people go through anything that significance and magnitude, and it be like more widely ignored than like TikTok being canceled or something like that. But
they were ready to storm the White House for TikTok getting canceled.
For the talk, but and so I think, so that's why I would agree with the, like the heart not being there. But then, like, again, not to open the hatch, but I know we've talked about this, and this was one of my like main content points on Threads for a long time, which is just like, we are in a place where we alleviate the energy we build from, or the tensions and energies we build from having to like sit idle, or not even having to, from feeling like we have to sit idle while people are experiencing genocide. Like we alleviate ourselves through the very like machine that is causing, like or funding the genocide. And so it's like this very odd, it's not psychosis, but it's like the weirdest catch-22. What I mean? It's like, I'm gonna go feel better about not doing anything about this by like spending money somewhere here. That's going to ultimately probably be partitioned into like the next, lump sum being sent to the, it's a weird,
it's a weird time.
Yeah. So, anywho, the Diglett is a great idea. I really, like, that was probably like, it put a big smile on my face when I first saw this and I saw the Diglett in the corner. I think we talked about that.
Oh, we might have.
For a bit at the Bridgeport Gallery.
Right.
But then there's also a Pokeball down here as well. The whale, I know you said it was just a concept that you saw before you wanted to do it, but was there any other, like, I guess, layering to why you chose that? Because I know you've probably seen a lot of different concepts.
It's just a surreal image to me to see like fish or whales soaring through clouds. And I was like, if this is gonna be like my surreal piece, that'll be like a very cool image to put there. And I guess when working on the comic book side of this piece, because every piece is accompanied with a comic book page, I wrote a poem that like served as the word bubbles for the comic book page, and now I don't remember the poem because I didn't memorize it, but like one of the lines was like, in my lakeshore dreams, like whales soar through the sky. In my lakeshore dreams, Pokemon are real. in my Lakeshore Dreams, Palestine is free from the river to the sea. That was like the last line.
Nice.
I think I'm missing one. But yeah, so it all kind of tied in really well. Of like, it's like a surreal dream state for all these amazing things to happen, including, it's like, I don't know, it's fun to think about, but it's also sad to think about that it's like it has to be a dream state where whales are soaring through the sky and Pokemon are around for Palestine to be free.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be nice if it was in reality, not in this Lakeshore dream of mine.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I think that the surreal, like the repetitive use of surreal and the use of the whale, I'll tell you how I received it, right?
Yeah.
So, my relationship with whales is one where when I was in Massachusetts for that math and science program I did for summers, that was you're not too far from the ocean,
Oh, yeah.
at that point, so we went about 2 miles out to sea, maybe 2 to 4 miles, I think it was.
Wow.
And we went whale watching as one of the trips in between going to see some of the Ivy League schools out on the East Coast. And so we were on the boat, we luckily came across a herd of whales, and then one of them went under the boat. And I think that was one of the most surreal moments that I had, like, in life, like from like just a physical reaction to like a massive creature.
Yeah.
Because it was like electric. Like, it's like I felt this electricity in my body that made me kind of like freeze and stand up, like kind of like not just the hair standing up on your neck, but like my body stood up. And it was like the whole time that I felt this massive whale moving beneath the boat, and the boat wasn't moving so much, like it was like a little, but it was just like I knew when it had finished crossing paths without seeing it, you know what I mean? And that like changed my life forever. It made me feel small, but also like meaningful all at the same time. So that's why I got the like surreal. And when I saw this first, it really took me right back there when I first saw the whale in the background. I might have also said that to you at Bridgeport. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself.
No.
Yeah, okay. Moving on.
Yeah.
All right. This is our next one.
That is another main character of mine, Ahmed the Alchemist. And he started all of this stuff, really. This character was like the first character I drew in building this Onion City world like 10 years ago.
Okay.
I remember the first time I drew him was at an Apple store while I was waiting for my phone to get fixed. And then the rest is history. But
so just for the listeners, how long did it take for your phone to get fixed?
Might have been at least 30.
Okay. So 30-minute character right here.
Yeah, at least 30. Which, I mean, it took years of development to get him to look as good as he looks now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was like a piece representing like triumph and power, and I wanted to make my Street Fighter fighting game victory pose piece. And a lot of the work I have is like bright colors but dark content, but this was like, no, let's showcase like some happy times, some times of victory as well. Even though he's got the little pink cloud hovering above his eye, which kind of represents like an inner darkness. Yeah. So he's like, the darkness is at bay today, and today we're celebrating, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because the first thing I want to ask when I see this, right, is like, is this a mischievous look? Because it does look a little mischievous in the corner, but it's like I can tell from just the light and how it's glowing on the right side of his head that it's like more of a lighter piece.
Yeah.
That's like where my heart goes first. I'm like, wait, is he being a little deviant or not? You know what I mean? And now that you've said that, it makes sense because he's like that part's at bay.
Right.
It's still there, but we're focusing more on this blue side, this Hadouken side over here.
And there's a yin to the yang with this piece that we'll get into later, like the flip side, because he's kind of like how Naruto has the demon locked in, and sometimes he's negotiating with that demon spirit, and sometimes the demon spirit takes over. But in this case, the demon spirit didn't take over, but in another painting, it kind of looks like it did.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, why the Alchemist?
The Alchemist, It made me think of the book The Alchemist, and just the idea of creating something out of nothing. Also, the anime Full Metal Alchemist. Haven't finished it, but really enjoyed the episodes that I've seen. Yeah, I have a backlog. I watched both and didn't finish either.
Okay. All right, finish Brotherhood. At least.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to move that to the front of the backlog.
It gets good.
Yeah.
It's really good.
But yeah, just being able to create something out of nothing. He's like to me, it was like if I were an art superhero being able to create something out of nothing, this is like who my hero would be.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it does, like, something about the way the fist does seem triumphant too.
Yeah.
Like and I do always appreciate that, like, people have the different things that they like, and I just like that there's always a lot of different details that actually mean something in the work that you put up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I do appreciate that. Did I have another question? Oh yeah, I did have another question about Man the Alchemist. What was the moment you sourced from this? Like, so was there a triumphant moment that you were having or experiencing in that time frame?
I'm trying to think. I can't think of a specific triumphant moment, but I think, to me, the triumphant moment was executing this concept. Because I had the idea, and I'm like, I'm gonna use spray paint and acrylic paint to like implement this glow, and it was one of those things where I like painted the character, and then I'm like, okay, it's spray paint time. This could ruin the piece. Yeah. There's no going back.
Yeah, you're like, all right, what you decided.
Like, yeah, let's see how this goes. But then it worked out. Which is a thing that happens a lot when you're painting. Is like, you get to a point where maybe you're trying something new or experimenting, and you're like, this experiment could either go great, or I'll have to throw this piece out or paint it all white and do it over again. But it's a risk I have to take to see what happens with it. So it's kind of like the triumph was in the piece. Honestly, it's a weird. It wasn't like a previous triumph that led to the piece. It was like, if I could execute this piece, I'll feel triumphant that I made this triumphant piece.
Gotcha. And then also just like preparation for other triumphant moments. I mentioned that ahead of it. Okay, so we're back.
We're back with Snow in a happy moment.
Yeah, this is so just a quick little side tangent for the people who are possibly here because we can't see. Mahmood created the album art for my first EP. It was called Snakes in the Shrine.
Oh yeah.
And one of my favorite details about that album art was that Snow was in the background, like shooting off to the side.
Shooting star.
It was so dope because Snow is like my favorite character. Like,
yeah.
I know. I'm sorry, Ramona. You know. And I forget what's the wolf's name?
Mona.
Mona.
Because Mona becomes the wolf eventually.
Why do I keep calling her Ramona? I did this the
you
first
gave
time
her a long
too.
name.
Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Ramon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's sorry. Don't judge me. Okay, so I noticed though when you have Snow, he's the one that's always constantly in some odd type of predicament,
yeah.
Right? And so there's a plane also in the background,
yeah.
here, right? And
it's the swordfish, which is the what's his name, Spike Spiegel's spaceship from Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
Is in the background. I haven't gotten to this in the comic book timeline, but there's a period where Snow is a space bounty hunter, and he's left Onion City because it wasn't safe for him, and now he's living a life as a space bounty hunter, kind of gathering himself. And in that time, he ends up stumbling upon the swordfish in a reality where Spike Spiegel is still around, and he loses the ship to Snow in a card game. So,
wow.
Yeah, little fan fiction.
And I know Cowboy Bebop's your favorite.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's definitely a comfort show at this point in time.
Yeah, that was not to get too, that was one of the. I don't cry a lot, you know what I'm saying? I'm one of those type of people. That's completely a lie. Like everybody knows, I cry a lot. I cry often. That was one of the anime that got me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the ending, I was like, damn, man. And I guess I may be kind of ruining it for some people who might not have seen the ending, but yeah, Naruto got me with Jiraiya. I know you didn't finish Brotherhood, so I won't say anything about that. But yeah, the character development of those people, and then like what happens to them really messes with me.
It'll hurt your feelings.
Yeah. Okay, so in this image, he has won the craft.
Yeah, he's just like blasting off in his jetpack, like in front of the aircraft. But this was more so like it was like a tribute to the space bounty hunter genre.
Mm-hmm.
And when making this piece, I was thinking of the comic book side that I was gonna draw the page for like the storyline behind it while making the painting. Yeah, I just love the space bounty genre, whether it's like The Mandalorian or Cowboy Bebop, or like there's another one that I was really into that I can't think of right now. But yeah, I'm just like
outer space bounty hunter.
Yeah, like the idea of being like a Wild West cowboy in outer space.
Yeah,
It's just a cool idea to me.
That was, like Cowboy Bebop was a really dope concept, man.
Yeah.
Like, and great characters just all around. It reminds me of how they try to structure the cast for like the A-Team. You know what I mean? Like, but just with way more sophisticated characters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they kind of have like an archetype of each of those people in that show. I'll move on from this one because I know there's one more where I'll be able to ask the question.
Oh, okay.
So this one I know a lot about because I know we spent some time talking about this.
Yeah.
A couple different times because I've had different responses to it based off of like the context you've given me in between. But go ahead and explain this and give the title, and then I'll ask my questions again.
Yeah. So this one's called Shadow of Doubt. This was the painting. I painted this when I first moved back to Chicago, and I was just feeling a lot of doubt in my circles or internally as well. And it was kind of like not a DJ Khaled "they didn't believe in us" moment, but kind of. And I was like, I'm gonna make this painting and I'm gonna go hard on this artwork. And it was kind of channeling a dark feeling as motivation, which sometimes is good, but sometimes could lead to burnout. And that's why I feel like in this painting, he's like giving into the demon spirit and going like, okay, bet I'm gonna show y'all, but I'm gonna show y'all with a dark undertone.
For sure.
Yeah.
So my first question is this: what inspired? And I'm going to do it layer by layer because these are the questions. My phone closed, but these are the questions that I had prepared. Right.
Yeah.
So texturally, what was the inspiration behind the Viney effect of the streamlet? Because is this clouding?
Yeah, it's like he's walking out of a dark cloud.
Okay.
But it's like that dark cloud is also got his back.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not in the best way.
Okay.
But like, because the dark spirit, the night demon behind him is like, it's feeling fed, and it's like a parasite. So it's like, I'm here to help you, but for my benefit.
Yeah, and the reason why I asked that is because it gave me that symbiotic Spider-Man, feel, and because the symbiote doesn't necessarily want to hurt the host.
Yeah.
So it's like when there's like, so for example, when it takes on, a host that actually wants to let out that rage or that dark side, this is kind of how it looks. Like it's like opening a path for it rather than just like trying to consume the host. And so I did kind of feel like that. So that's why I wanted to ask like if that was texturally like something that you were trying to get to, because it definitely had its impact. And then the other thing is like, is there significance to the voiding on this, like in the middle part here? Because I can see the vining and like the textural side right here being like the split of whatever the entity is, like the darkness, the ominous clouding, but then it's like this kind of feels like just behind it, it's just like black, like just nothing. You know, like it can be infinity behind there. So is there like, was there significance to like the contrast or the juxtaposition of that?
It's like he's walking out of the shadow, but the shadow is still holding on to his footsteps. Okay. Was the idea. If I was thinking of him like walking with this trailing shadow behind him that's like manifested.
What's homie's name from Naruto?
Yeah. The guy that controls the shadows.
I forgot what it's called.
I forgot it. Shadow something jutsu.
Yes. God damn, I haven't watched Shippuden in so long.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get into Boruto. I just can't do it. I don't know. It's something I want to see bro unlock his Bakugan, but I'm not willing to watch all that filler to get there. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it just is what it is. But back to the topic. Sorry. All right, and then so let's talk more about like the personal aspect of needing the energy. Like your creative energy comes from a specific source, like, and so depression obviously is like the antagonist to that, right? So, how did you personally navigate creating a piece while needing to draw from like a different energy and being in like a depressive state?
It's always been a comfort since childhood. It's like, I mean, I still draw when I'm happy or whatever, but I know for a fact when I'm not feeling great, I draw. And this started off as like a sketchbook drawing, and then it turned into a larger painting. But it was like a sketchbook drawing I did with like a ballpoint pen, very rough. Like if I had the sketchbook with me, I would show you. But it's like a literal depiction of I feel bad right now. You know, I think at the time it was like I hung up the phone with somebody, it wasn't a good conversation, and I'm like, I don't like how I feel right now, and then I open up the sketchbook. And then we got here. Okay. So.
And do you feel like that's the typical process you go through? Like, is when you're not feeling the best, is drawing one of the things that you usually go to automatically, or like is
it's like
you can choose like when like based on like the magnitude of what you're going through?
I feel like the weeks where I'm feeling the anxiest or with the highest level of anxiety, it's usually a week I haven't drawn. Okay. And it's like a how I meditate type of thing. But sometimes it's like, you know, you're feeling antsy or anxious, and I just like sketch like a Spider-Man image. So it's not even like it always turns into an original idea. Sometimes just the act of like being quiet and just doodling,
focusing on one thing.
That's real. Clears the head.
That's real. Is there any other commentary you want to offer on this piece?
No, I think we covered it for the most part.
Okay, because there's one. All right. So, title:
Passion, Pain, and Demon Slaying.
All right. Now, who is this character to you?
This is a funny character because when I was telling you, like, Snow has his space bounty hunter adventure at some point, like, it's really like a buddy cop type of movie in my head.
Got you.
Or comic book story, and it's gonna be with this guy and him, and they like wake up in like a outer space jail cell together and have to break out and become bounty hunters.
Got you.
But the inspiration for this character was literally my Red Dead Redemption online character that I crafted. Anytime I make a character in a video game, I've named them Muddy Indigo. I don't know why. He was the first one. And I'm like, I'm gonna use the character design from the game and like bring it into my art. I'm like, this cowboy is gonna wake up in the future in this jail cell, not knowing how he got transported out of the past and into this, you know, weird future where there's space bounty hunters now.
Okay. So is the jail cell being shot through, or is there something or an actual creature?
So yeah, that was the background on the character, but this was I wanted to create a painting with like just a unique perspective from the wound of a monster that he shot down.
Got you.
I saw this other artist do an interesting composition where he painted like an image, but the POV was like if the camera was in somebody's mouth. So it was framed by like teeth and lips. And then you just saw like something happen outside. Like it's like us talking and I'm painting you as the subject, but the camera lens is in my mouth.
Gotcha.
And you're framed by teeth. And I was like, that's an interesting composition. I want to apply it to like my world in some way. Like I'm not going to paint another from the mouth perspective. That would be copying. That would be plagiarism. But I was like, I love this composition idea so much that it'd be cool if it was like you see this cowboy standing down over you, but the camera's in the like stomach, the belly wound of the beast that he just slayed.
Yeah, I think that is really.
It's a little graphic, but
no, I mean,
it creates something
graphic,
interesting.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like, but this is it's a very cool perspective to see a character through. I did notice that there's some Trunks type hair going up at the top. Okay, I know Trunks is your favorite character from Dragon Ball Z as well. Okay, and then what is the? I know you said it was the Red Dead Redemption character.
Yeah.
So was your Red Dead Redemption character modeled after any inspirations or any?
I mean, you try to make them. It's like anytime I'm designing a character in a video game, you try to make them look like you, but then I always, for whatever reason, ever since this character, I always go with white hair and like a dark beard. I just thought it looked cool when I did it for him, and then I just started doing it. Like I'll play a medieval fantasy RPG. It'll be a long white hair with like a Viking dark beard, and I'll name him like Mudicus Indicus instead of Muddy Indigo.
Got you.
So it's just a thing, I don't know, that I've done with recent video games.
Is that the bit?
Must be.
Hopefully it's not picking up too bad on the mics.
Yeah.
That sounds significant. Sounds like a train.
It does sound like a train.
So we got the attire out of the way, because it kind of gives me M. Bison a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the attire.
The red leather or whatever, yeah.
And that, I think at some point, as his character developed through the games, he had a little bit of fur.
Oh yeah, like a fur collar.
Yeah.
Or lapel, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, because I forgot, was he like a colonel or something like that?
Something like that.
'Cause he had the cap and everything.
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah. So the other part about the perspective is, for me, and I'm looking at it now and I'm seeing the clouds in the background, but at first I wasn't sure if it was like the actual hunter like leaning over after, or like they were standing and like the bite is about to fall now. You know what I mean? So it's like
a little of both,
way.
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like being in that limbo. I think that's what I like about art. It's like sometimes I don't even want to be told what you meant. You know what I mean? Like it's like I want to live in the world that I'm living in from what you created. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah. Okay. Any other? You gave the title.
Oh yeah, and the title was like more about just like slaying your demons, but in this case, it's not with a sword. It's with like a cowboy's revolver.
Yeah. Did you intentionally leave out the barrels for the revolver?
Oh yeah, probably classic case of a painter being lazy. I was like, this perspective is really challenging me, and now when I look at it, I'm like, I could have done a better job at this, at this awkward perspective of like, close up on the gun, foreshortened hand, like the hand looks massive, and you barely see the forearm and whatnot. But it was a case of like,
you just made me see all those things. I didn't see any of that.
Yeah, it's a case of you're trying to do your best with a perspective, and a lot of times when it comes to perspective in art is you're trying to apply good perspective techniques, but then the question remains of, does it make sense? So there's times where you're like applying the math of 2-point, 3-point perspective, and now I'm speaking like art technicalities, but you're like, okay, I'm following the perspective rules, but does the image make sense?
Right.
Sometimes you can think of that with like grammar, where you're like, the grammar is accurate. I'd get 100 in my English class, but the message doesn't make sense though, because the common language, you would say it differently.
Right.
Talking to a friend versus writing an essay in like perfect grammar.
Got you. And so I asked because I thought you were maybe modeling the stylism of Cowboy Bebop in this one.
Oh.
Because you know how they had like those, not just in their animation, but like their weaponry wasn't really detailed. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Every time somebody pulled out a weapon, it was just like a gray,
A few
kinda like
rectangles.
slab, like
Yeah.
a slab of something. You know, and they might have a couple lines on the side, so you know it was like
Right.
dangerous, or but okay.
The funny thing about this gun is, I just looked up a revolver reference on like Pinterest or something, but I recently bought a Nerf gun off of TikTok Shop that looks like a futuristic looking revolver, and it wasn't even to use it. Like, I loaded it up and fired it once, and I'm like, I don't really care to use it, but I want to use it as a reference for like what his gun should look like.
That's nice. That's
So
cool.
that's something that I consider
It's a free-
sometimes when I buy things. Because I'm like, can I use this in an art piece in the future?
If you just wanted the Nerf gun, it's okay, man.
I'm
Like,
trying to. I was gonna shoot at my cats with it.
No, so that was gonna be literally my next comment. I have a Nerf gun to shoot at my cat with.
Okay.
So
Yeah, no, I was like, I'm definitely gonna shoot at my cat with it, but I gotta pick up the pieces, or the cats are gonna eat it, or my daughter's gonna eat it.
you got to get the one I have. It has like these little soft round pellets, but they're big enough where they're not gonna eat them, but they'll play with them the same way they play with paper balls instead of the expensive toy you bought for them.
Yeah.
New game. Continue that later.
More on the video game influences, but this is also kind of surreal in a way.
Mm-hmm.
But this blade is important. This is the blade that my character Mona wields. It's supposed to be like a katana with very special powers. I think I named it the Ghost Blade in the comic that I'm developing and writing. And I wanted to create like my version of a start menu in a video game. And I was thinking of like Final Fantasy VII's loading or new game screen with the big Buster Sword and new game or continue. But it's also a piece about like the artist journey and life, where you're just like, all right, am I continuing on the journey that I've begun, or is it time to scrap it all and reset and just start over from scratch? The arrow is selecting continue because I've chosen to continue on and reinvent in the current save of my game.
Gotcha.
As opposed to like going for a new game.
Reset.
Yeah.
So I got a question based off like just the series that we just presented to everybody through the prints, but just like in your art, is there a specific like mode that you start off in, as far as like when you transfer from like more detail to like more simplicity? Because when I'm listening to you explain the differences in like the background of why the pieces came to be and like why you added certain details to them, the ones that like, and not that any of them were like so simple when you explained it, but like the ones that were more complex also seem more complex, you know, like in what you layered into the piece. And then the ones that are a little bit more like less complex, like they're less complex. So is that something that you like intentionally do?
Kind of. It's like when I crafted this show, I wrote out titles, like I said earlier, and I think of art shows like a music album.
Okay.
So when I'm writing out the titles, it's like my track list. And I'm like, even though I'm not necessarily like actively thinking this way, but it's like, okay, these are my deep cuts. This is my single. This is the one, you know, that's gonna go off in the streets.
Like this is B-side.
Yeah,
right?
this is B-side. This is like coming from a real place. This one is more so to like more world building. Because a lot of the pieces are like, obviously they're there to like express how I'm feeling. And next event, we're gonna be doing a whole thing about matching up the paintings with the emotion that inspired them. But in addition to that, I'm about world building, and it's like 9 pieces that expand the world and 9 pieces that expand the lore, and they're like, you know, backgrounds on the setting, the characters, the objects, and the themes. So yeah, some of them are just like more straightforward than others, but even the ones that are straightforward, like the cowboy one, I'm like, it's a straightforward concept and composition, but it's still about slaying an inner demon in a way. And then this one, it's like, yeah, it's a start menu video game screen, but it's also like, just like this feeling we've all felt of like, are we living in a simulation? Like, who's gonna hit reset? Is it gonna be me or the simulator, you know, itself gonna explode?
That kind of...
You ever see those memes that are like, you know it's a simulation because how many of you have ran into your neighbors at the grocery store?
Right.
And it's like, nobody.
Yeah, it's what was I gonna say? It's like that. I was trying to think of a different word other than being stuck, but yeah, it's like, again, the limbo. You know, it's sometimes you just realize that there's only options to choose from and not ones to create in a lot of different like areas of life. You know, I think that could make you want to reset.
Yeah.
You know, instead of like, how can I create my own options and then choose them because they're all going to benefit me, and not have to like make the choices that don't benefit me but will potentially benefit me if conditionally these things also fall into place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So does the indigo come into play here too?
Yeah, or like the indigo people. Yeah.
Okay.
That's another layer of like the comic and the world. The indigo people are like special people with abilities. They're like the creatives of the world that I'm building. They're also like my ripoff of the X-Men.
Gotcha.
And, you know, I'm still working on my Onion City Chronicle comic book, the first volume. And it's set in a time, it's like if the X-Men lost and there was only like 3-4 mutants left. That's kind of the setting that I'm creating there.
Okay.
But there's also like, again, a Dragon Ball Z influence, because there's gonna be like a time travel portion of like, we gotta go and fix this place.
Yeah.
And, you know, just save it from getting here.
Gotcha.
But yeah, no, the indigos are, I mean, this is a sword that belonged to an indigo, and then it'll be wielded by Mona, like the last indigo of this world.
So my question about the sword is, what is the power that it has? I know you said mystic power, but what's like the actual ability?
It was, I developed a little bit on the sword itself, was that it can't be wielded by anybody. It's like Thor's hammer. It chooses who's worthy, and it's just like a blade that never dulls.
So it can't be removed from these lines here. Okay.
And there's if you look at the like, which piece was? Oh yeah, the comic book piece associated with it. If you look back there, it's like a banter between Snow and Mona, where he's like, we gotta find this sword, like it's an important sword. She's just on her phone like, man, I don't know what you're talking about, but okay, like we'll go find the sword. And he's talking about like, you know, it's a special sword, it can't be wielded by just anybody. And she's like, you mean this sword? And she just like pulled it out. And I haven't, you know, confirmed this, but it's like, was the legend false, or was she just way worthier than she even realized? You know, Snow's trying to be a mentor and go like, you know, if you're lucky, like if you're truly worthy, you'll be able to wield it. And she just pulled it out with the ease, and he's just like, yo, I can't with this generation, which is a feeling I have a lot in my old age now.
Man, okay. Okay, so to conclude this, I got a comment and a question.
Yeah.
So first, earlier you had mentioned that one of the pieces was inspired by The Alchemist. And then kind of hearing how you explain the significance of the sword, I'm wondering if there are any parallels you draw between this and sort of like that concept of the jewelry always being with you, you know, like, or, you know, like, because the whole, also when Borders had that 50% off hardcover sale, until February 1st. I went and got the last deluxe edition copy of The Alchemist with the gold pages.
Oh.
And it was actually supposed to be a gift, but it's now mine.
It's not mine.
It's now mine. So I had cracked it open just to like read some of the parts that I really liked from it, or actually more recently. And so I'm wondering if you draw a parallel, or if any parallel might have been drawn either consciously or subconsciously to just like that idea that like you're presenting this question to yourself, like is there something I feel I'm unworthy of wielding that I'm already wielding? Like it's kind of like what we in essence talk about when we talk about our journeys with art.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like we don't really necessarily doubt our ability. You know, it's just like the reality of the lack of success is something that carries weight too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so as you explained that, it kind of felt like a self-messaging, you know, like image. You like, you know, and I know you said you did consider continuing, but I'm wondering if the parallel is like there's something that I'm questioning that I also damn, is that a sentence where I'm saying also twice? I think it actually is appropriate. Where I also have the thing that I'm unsure of.
Yeah.
You know, being able to wield.
I mean, it's also like, what was it? The Tom Holland Spider-Man one, where he was like, he thought he needed the suit, and it was like, no, you got to be Spider-Man with or without the suit.
Yeah.
So that's definitely in there, even if it's subconscious. It's definitely in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
For sure. And then the last thing, just take us through like because I did this purposely. We've gotten all like the details of some of the characters and some of the instances of Onion City and what anybody who came to explore would find.
Yeah.
Some of the items you would see, the sword, some of the characters you would see, you know, Ahmed the Alchemist, you know, we got Snow in here, all these people you would see, but tell us about the actual world they belong to and how you sort of placed yourself through these characters.
Yeah, I mean, all these characters are me in some way, shape, or form, where they're like expressing a feeling I've had, or they've been used to tell a story about something that I went through, but then over time, I've used them so much that they're developing their own stories, and their stories parallel with my, you know, whatever I'm dealing with or whatever's going on in my real life. And Onion City was just a setting. It's like a parallel to Chicago and other places I've lived in and visited and whatnot. But it's like this other artist that I'm really into, Greg Simpkins, also known as Crayola. All his paintings are very surreal, original works, original characters and whatnot, you know, blending influences and all that. And his characters live in his world that he calls the outside. And it's like, it's kind of like the playful idea of going outside to play as a
Okay,
kid.
I was just gonna ask a question.
Yeah.
I get it now, okay.
I think he's explained it like that before, but it's like he's been a painter for like 20 plus years, so over time he's just like they all exist in the outside. And with mine it's kind of the same thing, where it's like they all exist in this parallel universe to where I call home, where I grew up, certain areas I visited, and that's how I think of Onion City with the paintings. But then with the comic book, it's like Onion City, even Onion City is further developed into its own character, where it's like a dystopian, cyberpunk, kind of like Midgar in Final Fantasy VII type of city of tomorrow, but also of yesteryear.
Gotcha.
At the same time. So yeah, and I mean the onion comes from like a Native American word that was associated with the region of Chicago, being an area that smelled like onions because there was a lot of onion plants here. So that's kind of where the Onion City came from.
Gotcha. That's actually a pretty dope and intricate, like tethered to Chicago.
Yeah. So it's definitely tethered to Chicago in that way, and there's definitely elements of other places that I've visited that, you know, will eventually be explored when I'm like, you know, I'm painting a character in let's say a Mediterranean area of Onion City that might be influenced by like when I visited Turkey, if that makes sense, or something like that. So yeah, it's definitely expansive, but tethered to Chicago and influenced by Chicago. That's why you have Demon Dogs, which is like, I'm like, you know, in a world where characters are fighting night demons, it makes sense that it wouldn't be Devil Dogs, it would be Demon Dogs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, it's kind of like that. Or when you think of Grand Theft Auto games, they're never like New York City, it's like Liberty City, which is like a parallel parody of New York, or San Andreas, a parallel parody of LA and the West Coast.
Right.
So this is like kind of my version of that.
Okay. And then for anybody who hasn't engaged or viewed or read anything around Onion City or any of these characters, where would you recommend they start?
They could start on definitely my Instagram. They could start on my website, or even the Onion City Chronicle comic Instagram page. That's where I've been kind of tracking progress on the comic book, but eventually when the comic book is done, I'm gonna have a webtoon, which I have a webtoon up, it's just not updated.
Gotcha.
If that makes sense. So they could read up there on the comic book side, and just, yeah, I guess from captions, or honestly, the best way is my art book, which we should have flashed here for product placement.
Yeah, I didn't want to.
Our distinguished audience is bringing it over.
Yeah.
Thank you. This book that I put together in honor of this show, Onion City Memories, it's kind of like a time capsule capturing the show, and it's like a good art and lore book to just kind of give you in-depth background on every painting, every comic book page up in this show, as well as some like character bios of like the main characters that have been showcased so far, as well as a timeline of events, because all these paintings and comic book pages take place, you know, at different points in time across this timeline that I've been building. So this would be probably like the Bible, the Onion City Bible, of like a good way. If you didn't know me, you picked up this book, you would know a lot about me and my work just from this book alone.
Just from that, got you. Okay.
So, yeah.
Just hit the mic, so it might be a little.
That's okay.
Spike right there. Okay, that was actually exactly what I was hoping happened, because I forgot to bring the book over here.
Oh, yeah.
I thought about that halfway through, and I was like, it might be too much.
No, it's okay.
But I'm glad that was introduced. What I do want to say about the entirety of the project is like, it's one of the most, again, I'm using the same words, but it's really one of the most intricate like backstories to like someone's paintings that I've ever like experienced before.
Yeah.
And so when I first got to walk around at Bridgeport, I didn't really even know, like I've seen the pieces, like, cause me and Mahmoud send each other the roughest drafts or whatever we're working on. So it's like we have like comfort with just like, here's me in the bathroom 20 minutes ago coming up with a melody sounding like Jiminy Cricket, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm gonna send it to him. That's going, you know, he's not gonna be like, you sound like Jiminy Cricket, you know what I'm saying? So,
in the shower.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like we send each other like the rawest forms of our art. And so I've seen a lot of the things in drafting, and I've seen a lot of the concept in drafting. But when I walked around and like actually got to see each layer in the order that you wanted people to experience it in, like it really did hit me. Like, this is like an entire world. Like, this is the sort of like, this is the sort of feeling you get when you watch a series and you want the season 2.
Yeah.
Because you want to see, you know, where everybody goes, like where this all goes next. So it's like, I really do appreciate that you take the time to like create that for people who want more than just like what they're seeing and feeling, because like you can actually walk through the lives of the character you relate to now. You know what I mean? So like Snow being the character that I like the most, you know, like I can actually be like, oh, now this dude's like, I just learned a lot about this. I thought it was like a desk carpet playing a little bit in the back, because it kind of reminded me of it from Grand Theft Auto, but
that's funny.
when you explain, I'm like, oh yeah, I start to see it right when you're like, why didn't I see that? You know,
Yeah.
like, and just knowing who like how much you like Cowboy Bebop, like this makes so much sense. But then like I was like, he's a bounty hunter, you know what I mean? Like so like it's really it's dope, man. Like I really appreciate you putting your craft out in that way. And I don't want people to copy, but I really do wish people like took more time to build out the world, because it does deserve a world to exist in. You know what I mean? Like it really does. So appreciate you. I don't know what time we're at. What time are we at on the?
We're at 2. Oh, at the how long it's been? Does it say?
1:15.
An hour 15.
Oh, an hour 15.
So we got like 15. Do you want to talk about anything else?
Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
So, I left my heart at Demon Dog. So
Yeah.
I've seen this a couple times, and I think seeing it this large is the first time, like the pink eyes and that
Oh, yeah.
no character is coming up is the first time I kind of recognize it in a different way. Can you speak to that part of that?
The pink eyes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's like it's more night demon imagery where I don't know, the eyes are kind of there a lot in these pieces or in just historical pieces. It's kind of like they're always watching. So more backstory on the night demons. They are manifestations of anxiety and self-doubt that Ahmed the Alchemist is dealing with wherever he is. But eventually in his timeline, he kind of loses the battle to them and they fully take over, and he gives what remains of his spirit to his favorite stuffed animal, which is Snow. Snow was just a mere toy, a children's toy during Ahmed's time, and he gives the remainder of his spirit, his good spirit, to Snow. And now Snow is alive, but he's alive in a world where his best friend, his owner, is no longer there. And now there's these like humanoid manifestations of these night demons that kind of destroy Onion City over time.
Damn.
And now,
Like,
yeah.
What?
So we haven't gotten there yet.
This needs to be like a animated series, man. Like
One day.
we need to be able to watch this.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the
Damn.
the
Thanks
goal.
for asking that question, because that just gave hella insight.
So like he's sitting here, he's sad about like, you know, missing some good times at the burger spot, and it's like, is he thinking of times when Ahmed took him to get a burger, as even though he was just a toy without any, you know, he wasn't an animated toy, or is he thinking of like times he had with Mona coming here many years later? But the eyes are there because they're just like, they're always watching him because he's the leader of like a rebel group trying to take back the city.
You said you had another question?
For the Lakeshore Dreams, any curiosity on why you chose the John Hancock building over the Sears Tower?
That's a good question. I don't know if I was thinking of like the view of the John Hancock from Lakeshore Drive. I'm trying to think why I did that. Maybe I was just trying to be artsy and different, which could be true. I was like, the Willis Tower, the Sears Tower as we call it, is the more popular building, but I was like, the John Hancock could get some love in my world as opposed to the Sears Tower.
I would never call it the Willis Tower.
I know.
I said Sears.
Yeah.
No, she said Sears.
Yeah. You just brought it up.
I said Willis to anybody watching that's like, I don't know what Sears is.
Yeah, Sears Tower forever.
Yeah, forever.
Yeah, I noticed that actually when I was looking at it, but I think my mind went to like the icing at the top.
Yeah.
And I was like, these look like Ice Cube buildings. A little
Yeah,
bit, you know
like
what I
it's
mean?
just fog and mist, or my attempt at fog and mist.
It actually is a really cool effect. Yeah. Okay. Any more? Okay. Cool.
Okay,
Well,
great.
do you want to touch on anything else before we pop out?
I think we covered it. So yeah, Onion City Memories is here through February 27th at Connect Gallery in Chicago. We've got a couple more events. Valentine's Day / Friday the 13th event coming up this week. And then we're going to be closing out on the 27th with an open mic where I'm going to be leaning on your circle of performers to come through and put on a show.
Yes, we will.
So,
Well, I will. I can't speak for anybody else.
yeah, we know at least you'll be here giving
Yes.
us some great
Yeah.
performances, which will liven up the space for sure.
Yep. I'm considering,
What?
and this is just like for the 13th.
Oh yeah, you were like,
wonder-
maybe you'll be able to come?
I have plenty of material for Bad Luck Love. You know,
Oh,
like
really?
I have a ton of it from recent experiences. Okay, so I can definitely wipe the floor with that. But what I was thinking was, like a mixer of sorts, not like meet people type thing, but like music for people who don't have anybody on that day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you're good with playlists. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So like, heartbreak, anti-heartbreak playlist all in one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
I have my own. It's called
Set a vibe.
Sincere. That's what
Yeah.
I call it. Where I have like songs that make you like edge toward memory of heartbreak, but then a song that's like very soft and gentle. So it's like this really cool wavelength
Up and down.
effect.
Yeah.
And then I just call that sincerity because it's like being sincere with having like you're really feeling the heartbreak, but you're not trying to like hit the bottom of it right now. You know?
Yeah.
Anywho, yeah.
That could be fun.
I was thinking about that because I know you got the what's it?
Oh, it'll be like a scavenger,
Scavenger hunt. I was about to say trophy hunt, because again, Pokemon. Sorry, my Pokemon cards are here.
Yeah.
And so I think that would be a cool, and it wouldn't be much to add to that. So something we can talk about later. But anyway, that's going to conclude our return back
Seeing
from our
Sounds.
hiatus, seeing sounds, and we should be doing this more consistently.
Yeah,
We
we
talk
should.
about the scheduling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we should be giving you more consistent content now, especially because I live in a much quieter part of, I guess it's not Illinois even, so I'm not even
Oh, true.
in Illinois anymore. So we should be able to get you more quiet content without people driving by the garage every 6 seconds.
True.
Right. But appreciate you all for tuning in, people. This is your YouTube.
Yeah. YouTube
Any-
and Twitch. It'll be
Anybody
on
subscribed,
Spotify.
you know, watching right now, we appreciate you. Thanks for embracing our awkwardness, and we will catch you on the next audio recording of
Yeah.
Seeing Sounds podcast.
Peace.
Peace. I'm gonna sit here awkwardly too.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
That was good.
Yeah,
That was great.
I think a lot.